Please find a great seat. We're about to kick this morning off right.
Another one bites the dust. 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 Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of your Denver Startup Week co-founders, Eric Matisik. Please give a Denver Startup.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Denver Startup Week 2017. It's an absolute honor that you're all here. And on behalf of the committee, all of our volunteers, and most importantly, the Downtown Denver Partnership who produces this event, we couldn't be more thankful for your choice to participate in Startup Week. In just 5 short years, we've started our 6th program, and we are now the largest free entrepreneurial event in the world. But this is really the story of you. There's so many stories of entrepreneurs in this room that have done amazing things that continue to put Denver on the map. When I think about it, this week is about celebrating all things entrepreneurial. It's at its core exploring and testing the ideas and risks that keep you up at night that if you knew you built would change the world. Like many of you, I've been thinking to myself, what's this out-of-the-box idea? What's that risk I could take? Like, what's my true calling? What's that thing that I know I could do for the rest of my life? Is that a company? Is that a career? What is it? What is it? So, when we started in 2012, many of you are here, and our keynote speaker was Gary Vee. He said, right now this is small, but in 5 years this will be huge. Just wait, you'll see. Wait, was that some kind of rhyme? Maybe that's my calling. Denver Startup Week time. It's funny to think that just 5 years ago, we started this event to be more like San Francisco. On one hand, the startup I could have listed back when SendGrid, Full Contact, and Ibotta barely existed. We were a city of innovators the world had yet to see. No one ever thought Simpose, Scratch, Crafts would be bought by NBC. No Union Station, no Rhino, no A-Line, no recreational weed, but we were doing just fine. Uber was a small company, hot on our legislators' backs long before they had 150 people here, just making maps. Artifact Uprising was not a glimmer in our founder's eye. Well, before they founded, grew, and then sold to Visual Supply. But wait. In 5 years, how far we have come, rising on the list, number 1 to number 1. Number 1 best place for business, the top place to start up, number 1 healthiest state. Well, we don't sit in our butts. That's right. We have our own style of hustle. Part grit, part cowboy, and 2 parts give first muscle. At a mile high, I have looked across the nation. I see our startup community. We've always been first, not just in heart, but in reputation. So when we look out off of this peak, we know exactly why this is so awesome, this free startup week. Community-led with entrepreneurs at the heart, a celebration of innovators and makers, music, and this year, now art. If we have an idea, boy, do we have something for you. 5 days, 350 events in a city with a mountain view. Whether knowledge, relationships, or Casey Neistat you came to see, we have something for every starter seeking to be the best that they can be. But right here, we're here, 2017. This ain't like San Francisco. It's Denver. Startup heaven. So Denver, stand on your feet. Stand on your feet, put your hands in the air, for we have Ryan Harris. He's going to throw something to bear. When all of you hear it,
you're getting down.
He's our boy to you to me.
Look at him.
Ryan Harris, Super Bowl champion, Denver Bronco, and this year's MC.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, how about for Eric, huh? Yeah. What better way to start than a little hip-hop revolution in history right there, huh? Felt like I was at the Apollo Theater for a minute. How y'all doing? You doing good? Welcome to the 6th year of Denver Startup Week. 6 years, how about that, huh? Yes. And this year promises to be bigger and badder than ever. So be excited. Be excited. I am Ryan Harris, as they said, broadcaster, champion in Super Bowl 50 for your Denver Broncos, those of you who are Broncos fans. And I'm excited to be here with y'all. Denver Startup Week is a week in which the greater Denver community and beyond comes together to celebrate entrepreneurship, innovation, and the incredible leadership that has decided to start and grow their companies here. Do we got some companies here this morning? Growing in Denver? Well, I want to first start this morning by congratulating each and every one of you. Each and every one of you here this morning has gone beyond. And I believe we're at our best when we go beyond. That through self-education, acting on our passions, and investing in our communities, we can create real and lasting change. So congratulations for going beyond the network you know and the knowledge you have to be here and learn from those in similar and different fields. Congratulations for going beyond the excuses that could have kept you from being here. Some of you this morning had some excuses, right? So who's ready to continue to go beyond and change the world, huh? Anybody? Yes. We're going to have a funky, good time. Let's start the program and allow me to introduce to you the co-founders of Denver Startup Week, Ben Data, Tammy Dorr, and Eric Matisa. Give them a round of applause.
Us on the side, I've been sad with you for most of the night. Ignoring everybody here, we wish they would just
Welcome, what up, Denver Startup Week? Take a minute to look around. It's a room full of 800 people, and we couldn't be more excited to showcase the heart of this entrepreneurial adventure. We have so many great things that are coming for you. This week will hold over 350 free events and more than 80 venues. Where's our slides? Amazing. The hub this year, I think, where's our base camp slide? Is it coming up?
Keep rolling. This is the pause where Tammy fills in because Eric's looking for the slide.
I don't start. Ben does. There you go.
All right.
You're up.
You know what that was, Eric? That was a pause for effect to thank Chase for base camp.
So I was talking with Casey before we started this about why this is so much different than any other event out there. The fact that this is free, when most times to attend something like this, you're talking about spending $500, $1,000, $5,000 to do that. And what that allows is something that is so egalitarian. It allows every single person who's out there to take part, to learn. They don't have to quit their day job to come here and have an opportunity to figure out how they're going to do this. How are they going to take that step? How are they going to be the ones that go out there and start a business? I'm not sure how many of you have seen some of the stuff in the news recently, but there's one, Axios had a report talking about how the rate of companies starting is lower than it's ever been. But again, it varies quite a bit by where you're at. And Denver is one of those ones that's an outlier. It's one of those ones that allows you to actually have that opportunity to go out there and create that business. And it wouldn't be possible without the people who are in this room today. So I'd like to start by thanking the Denver Organizing Committee for Denver Startup Week. Tammy, Eric, and I are representing them, but please, if you're a member of the organizing committee, stand up. These folks right here put in countless hours throughout the year to make sure that this all happens. They and all the rest of our volunteers are the reason that you're able to help attend this. Another great thing that why we're able to do this is our sponsors. So let's start by recognizing our title sponsors. Aging 2.0, Chase for Business, Comcast NBC Universal, WeWork, and the Downtown Denver Partnership. If you're with one of our title sponsors, please stand up. And let's recognize those title sponsors. These are the folks that allow you to go out and have a great time, go to great events, drink a ton of free beer. We also have our track sponsors. Innovations 50, Colorado Lending Source, Fanatics, Health Grades, Herman Miller, and Pendo. When you're out at all these great different events, learning how to be a better founder, developer, designer, maker, growth, all of those, these are the folks who made that possible. And finally, I don't want to forget our partner, member, and headline sponsors as well. If you're with any of our sponsor companies, please stand up. And again, let's give these folks a round of applause, because this week would not be possible without all of them. So when you're out there and having a great time, if you see somebody with a staff or with a volunteer or with a sponsored badge on it, please make sure to say thank you, because they make this week possible.
Thank you, Ben. I think the Startup Week jitters are over. Welcome, everyone. As you can see, this is a room of 800 awesome people, and we couldn't be more excited to showcase the heart of everything entrepreneurial here in Denver. We have so many great things in store for you this week and over 350 events. I think, as Ben said, if you're thinking about starting up, there's something for everyone. And it's really built around the idea that the businesses here and those who are dreaming about them can really create something special in the week. So this year's Base Camp is bigger and better than we've ever had. For those of you who've been with us, this is the fifth year we've been able to partner with Chase on something that's truly exceptional. This year, Base Camp is bigger, badder than ever, and is located at 1245 Champa Street, right behind us at the Commons on Champa, taking over the entire Skyline Park. If you're coming down Spear this morning, you might have saw that incredible white tent, and we have tens and tens of events through there this week that really will impress you, but most importantly, we give you a chance to walk away with something that truly you can apply to your own business and your own endeavors. Around the city, you're gonna see these blueprint footprints. Follow them around on the sidewalks. They all lead to Base Camp, and make sure that it's a chance for you to really dive in. You can gain feedback on your business, you can engage in mentor sessions, you can hear some of the best speakers and brightest minds on stage, and most of all, Chase. Thank you so much, and thank you, Chase for Business, for being our Base Camp sponsor and partner. You really make this the most special startup week in the world. Thank you. It's really no secret that Denver is the best place to start and grow business. And so as we look at this as one of the greatest opportunities for you to tell your stories throughout the week. Denver is special, we all know that, but let's really hear you shout from the rooftops throughout the entire week as you experience this awesome, awesome, awesome week. When you take out your phones, make sure you're tweeting, jumping on Facebook, Instagram, Snap, Vidly, whatever in the world that you think you can possibly push out there. We really want a tidal wave of activity for Denver Startup Week. Don't forget to include the hashtag Denver Startup Week on everything that you tag and post. Last year, we had over 47 million impressions on this hashtag, and I'm sure it's just a small little number of where we're headed in 2017.
Well, Denver has an amazing story to tell. You're feeling it today, and you're going to see it even more in the coming week. But let's talk about numbers. Over the past year, our startup community continues to grow. The Downtown Denver Partnership is excited to release our latest report on innovation and entrepreneurship. Stand up, you're probably sitting on it. I know you guys are sitting on it. No. All right, so if you're one of the 170 new startup companies over the last year, congratulations and thank you for growing our community. We have over 4,800 employees working for startups in our center city, 700 startup companies. And Denver brought in over $515 million in VC funding in the past year. That number's continuing to grow. The more you send this information out, the more the rest of the country can learn that this is a place to invest and to start companies. We had 5 companies really leading the pack over the last year in VC funding. We had Cyber, JRX, Ibotta, Full Contact, Pay Simple, and ProtectWise. How about a round of applause for them showing us all how we can make things happen. When we started Denver Startup Week, Eric touched on Chase. I just want to add one more point. It's about people believing in what can be done. So these types of companies set the stage to help us believe in what can happen and what the future holds. And Chase was there with us on day one when they said, hey, we'll just figure this out together. We didn't have all the answers. They stayed with us. So I do think that's what this week is about. Those that are succeeding, setting example, and inspiring those for their future. Now, going a little bit further, I want to take a minute and talk about the rankings for our community. We're growing, but we're making it happen. We are a great place to live. We're a great place to start and grow a company. And right now, we're the second best place in the country for software developers. We need to be number 1. So, back to what Eric was saying. Spread the word, tell the story. These rankings are important in attracting funding, attracting companies, and most certainly in attracting talent. So as we kick the week off, we've already had a chance to say thank you to our sponsors. We've thanked our many volunteers and our incredible organizing committee. I want to take a minute and thank the team at the Downtown Denver Partnership that works on Startup Week throughout the year. They're amazing, they're so committed, but most importantly, I want to acknowledge our executive leader of Denver Startup Week, Kate Barton, and our manager of Denver Startup Week, Rye Finnegan, for being an incredible team, inspiring, and making things happen. Kate's over here, raise your hands, Kate and Rye. So there we have it, the public, private, and nonprofit sector coming together to create the most incredible ecosystem in the United States, in North America, and the world around startups. Have a great Startup Week. I'm going to bring Ryan Harris back to the stage. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause, huh? They're doing a great job. Uh-oh, we got a special guest. We got Mayor of Denver in the house. Give him a round of applause. Michael B. Hancock. Maybe we could get you to say something later. Maybe. Well, I want to give you guys a little peek behind the curtain. I'm a big wrestling fan. Anybody heard of the Nature Boy, Steve? What's his name, the Nature Boy? Anybody? No? Not enough Nature Boy fans? Well, he does this thing. He says, woo! Okay, can I get a woo from you? Woo! Woo! Nature Boy Ric Flair will be proud of y'all. Well, Denver Startup Week's an opportunity to learn from the success of others. And one thing you've made clear is that you want to hear more from the homegrown leaders that we have here in Denver. So today, you're going to hear from 3 of those homegrown leaders, as well as our keynote speaker, this guy, Casey Neistat. You heard of him? Casey Neistat? If you cheer loud enough, he might hear you. Casey Neistat? There you go. There you go. Well, I'd like to start by giving you some information about the first person you're going to hear from today. Amy Zupan, my friend. She's from Vertifor. It's a company here in Denver. It is an old company, but it very much has the startup spirit. If you will see, give me one moment to go back here. My fantastic slide here. Other way. Let me get another woo! Get another woo! Too ready. So Amy, the CEO of Vertifor, an innovative leader that's driving change in the fast-growing economy. Founded in 1969, Vertifor is not a new company, but they very much have the startup spirit. They were acquired by Vista Equity and Bain in 2016, and the company is rapidly growing since moving their headquarters here to Denver. Amy brings extensive leadership and product expertise to her role at Vertifor, so please give me a warm welcome for Amy Zupan.
Great, it's terrific to be here. I'm going to talk a little bit today about a cruise ship. No, I'm not. But I'm going to start there. So, a cruise ship is a great ship to be on, right? If you want luxury and comfort and amenities, right? But it's probably not the best ship to take fundamentally into battle, right? For comparison, a cruise ship takes about 15 minutes to turn about 180 degrees. Modern day battleship can do it in about 2 minutes. Right? Not a problem. Vertifor is a 40-year-old company, as he mentioned. We've been around a long time. We're an insurance technology firm, and we've had a tremendous amount of success that we've been able to enjoy over that time period. We partner with the best and the brightest in the insurance technology space. We were worth about $2.6 billion in 2016 when we were bought by Vista Equity Partners and Bain Capital. Right? But the insurance space is going through what a lot of other industries are going through right now. Right? There's a startup popping up every week that says we're going to dramatically change and disrupt the industry, change the way the industry fundamentally works. Right? So it was about a year ago we embarked on a journey and a transformation at Vertafore, and we were gonna take this very incredibly successful company that had been around for a long time, enjoyed a tremendous amount of success, and we were gonna turn it into a 1,300-person startup, right? We were gonna take our cruise ship and turn it into a battleship. What I thought I could do today is just share with you a little bit about what we've done. We're partway through our transformation. It's been very successful to date. We started in January with 30 people in Denver. We're over 400 folks here in Denver today, and we continue to grow. And I thought what I could do is share with you what's helped make us successful. So first and foremost, location, location, location. It was all about figuring out where should we move our headquarters to and why move it somewhere. For us, it was about where can we find the right access to the types of people who want to be on this journey at the right cost, quite frankly, right? Where's the right access? So international airport, public transportation, central location inside of the US. No surprise to anybody in this room, Denver quickly rose to the top of the list, right? We could find the folks here who frankly wanted to be on this type of journey with us, right? The software engineers, the leadership, the marketing, the sales folks who wanted to be on this type of transformational journey. And we also, quite frankly, are bringing a lot of folks in from other parts of the country, and Denver has proven to be quite a strong component of our recruiting, quite frankly. People want to move and they want to come to Denver. I have a strong philosophy that good people bring good people at the end of the day. When you hire talented, inspirational, exciting folks that people want to work with, they turn around and bring more of those types of folks with you, right? I think that's super important, and for us, holding to that standard, figuring out what that was, has been really, really important. For us, the snowball effect of how that works, to go from 30 to 400, the snowball effect of good people bringing good people has been really tremendously powerful for us. What is your definition of good? At the end of the day, it's different for every one of us. It's different for your company, but I think the advice I would give you is it's really important to figure out what that is for you and hold to it without compromise. For us, we defined what it means to be good for Vertafore, and we put every single recruit through that same lens and that same definition without compromise. Again, to make sure that we continue to bring the best and the brightest that we want within the business. I'll switch and talk a little bit about authentic energy. As a CEO, I spend a good bit of time each and every week making sure that I am driving and cultivating the type of authentic energy that you want to have in a business when you're trying to go from where you were to where you fundamentally want to be, right? And for me, when I think about authentic energy and how you build it, it's about people, it's about place, it's about process, and it's about connection, right? So on the people front, are you personally displaying the type of energy that you want everybody in your business to have? Are your leaders doing it? Are they encouraging those that they work with to do it as well? Does your office environment, does your work environment encourage collaboration? Does it encourage innovation? Does it encourage working together? Really thinking about those things and putting that into play is super important. It's been very helpful for us. Process, right? Is your process encouraging the type of pace that you want to move, right? Or is it getting in the way? For me at Vertafore, I spend a good bit of time, and I view part of my role is really removing those obstacles that are almost sucking the good energy out of the business, if you will, right? Getting those good obstacles, get them out of the way and let people do their job, right? It's part of my role. And then connection. Connection is so important, right? Are we as a team connected to each other? Are we connected to the industry that we serve? Are we connected to the customers that we serve? Are we connected to the problems that we're fundamentally solving, right? At the end of the day, getting that people, the place, the process, and that connection fundamentally aligned is so key, and it really helps drive that authentic energy. At Vertafore, we like to say that we have a bias for action. We move as fast, and we're constantly looking to solve those problems. And I believe, as a leader, like all of you in this room, it's important that you demonstrate that yourself, right? You're constantly striving and you're moving at pace. I think it creates a very energetic, dynamic environment at the end of the day, and it's very motivating for folks. I think one of the things I'm very proud of at Vertafore is we're giving an opportunity for each and every employee to have really career-defining moments for themselves. And I think driving and pushing at that pace fundamentally helps create that for people. And then at the end of the day, especially for me, when you take on something that is a significant change, right? A 40-year-old company, and you're moving it to be that 1,300-person startup. You worry about how are people going to handle it? How are they going to react? It's a lot of change. How's that going to feel? And at the end of the day, what I tell my teams all the time is, give your folks credit. They see the same stuff that you do, right? They see what's going on in and around you. And if you lead from the front and you lead with that authentic energy and you lead with a sense of purpose and doing the right things, the team, they totally get it, right? They totally get it. Give them some credit. And then finally, when you get that magic going, right, what I'm sure some of you are feeling right now, you get the place, you get the people, you get the purpose, you get the connection, right? Fuel it, keep it going. At the end of the day, it's that team of folks together that is actually going to drive success for you, success for your teams, success for your customers, outcomes for your business. Embrace that change, tap into it. It's super, super important. So with that, what I will say is Vertafore, we're on a terrific journey. We're by no stretch done. We're having a great time. I love this city. I love Denver. I love the fact that we have such a strong technology community, and I am proud to be a part of this ever-growing technology community here in Denver. I look forward to great accomplishments coming out of this city, most likely on the backs of many of you. So with that, I'll say thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Thank you. Another round of applause for Amy, huh? Thank you for that definition of good and authentic energy. We know about authentic energy, don't we? Woo! 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 Feels good, don't it? Next up, we have the CEO from SendGrid, who, oh, by the way, is the sponsor for this breakfast. You got some SendGrid people here? All right. I'm proud to introduce you to Samir Dolakia. Samir leads the rapidly growing dynamic team at SendGrid, based here with their global headquarters in Denver. Global, ladies and gentlemen, global. SendGrid was born from the TechStars program in 2009, and Samir has an extensive expertise in successfully bringing high-growth, disruptive companies to market. SendGrid is on fire under Samir's leadership, and I can't wait for him to tell us how he's doing it. So let's give a warm welcome for Samir Dolakia.
Can we do that woo thing again? Woo! Woo! I love that. That is a good way to get things going. Good morning, everyone. It is such a privilege and an honor to be here helping kick off this awesome, and I think what will be the largest Denver Startup Week in history. So excited to be here with you guys. I have the privilege of being the CEO of an awesome, great, and special little company named SendGrid that was born here in the great state of Colorado in Boulder, and now has 300 of our 400 employees just down the road here in downtown Denver. It is our global headquarters and will continue to be so. It is an awesome, awesome company, and if you want to hear more about what we do later, we deliver 1 billion emails a day on behalf of over 55,000 paying customers. We have 400 awesome teammates that work hard to do it every day. We're going to talk more in the afternoon. I think there's a session at 1 o'clock about lessons we've learned going through from startup through growth stage. So if that's helpful, please stop on by. The thing I wanted to talk to you all about this morning is what I think is the most critical aspect of the talk from then, which is as a founder, as an entrepreneur, as a teammate of a young company, the thing you have to do most, you must invest in people and culture. People and culture. And it is Amy and I didn't coordinate our slides. It is no surprise that she talked about the same, because people and culture are what drive the creation of great companies. You absolutely have to do it. Now, there's nothing, you've heard that 100 times, right? There's no deep insight. People are like, whoa, I never heard that before. But the question is then, go and look at your calendars. Go back over the last week, over the last month, and go look at how many hours did you actually spend in the last period of time, spending time, one-on-ones, group meetings, thinking about people and culture explicitly. And I guarantee you, if you do a true, honest audit of your time, which is the most precious resource that we all have, you're not investing enough. I guarantee it. Me neither. And we try really hard, very conscious of it. And so why is that? And the reason is, for any founder or leader or entrepreneurial teammate in the room, you'll know it's because, man, we got a lot to worry about. You're like trying to figure out, man, so is the idea that is like literally the foundation of my entire business right now, is it a good one? Is it gonna work? Do I have the right strategy? Is it differentiated? Can I outcompete the people in the landscape that I play in? The customers that I'm serving, am I listening well? Are they buying what I'm selling? Are they picking up what I'm putting down? Right? Am I making progress on that product market fit journey or not? Am I closing deals? Shit, am I gonna make the number? Do I have enough cash? Do I have enough financing literally to help get me to the place that I believe this thing can go be? Oh man, I don't. I better go spend a lot of time financing. I gotta go fundraising. I'm spending a bunch of time with investors. I got the investors, woohoo. Oh, now I got a new board and I gotta go report back on how I'm doing and give them updates about what's happening, and they're gonna give me advice, some of which I love, some of which maybe I won't. You got a lot of work on your plate. And am I gonna make payroll? And by the way, as I'm stressing out about all these things that are business critical, I gotta make sure I don't get divorced through all this. Like, I gotta make sure, right? Like, does anybody resonate with like the stress of that page on the people you love and care about the most? Right? You're like, oh, I have so much on my head. And now, Samir, you're telling me I got to invest in my team and my people and the culture. That feels kind of fluffy. This stuff is mission critical. If I don't do this, I'm hosed. And what I would tell you is that is partially true, which is you do have to get all the things on the previous slide right. You absolutely do. It is necessary for a successful venture. You've got to sort through all that, but it is not sufficient. It is necessary but not sufficient. Sufficiency comes from investing in your team and in your people and in your culture. That's how you get there. And I promise you this, you can knock the cover off the ball on everything on that previous slide. And if you don't invest in the people and the culture, your business will fail. The venture will fail at some point. You may get it right for a period of time, but it doesn't scale. And we've learned this at SendGrid. You've got to invest in that to scale. And by the way, the converse is true. This is why necessary but not sufficient is an appropriate use here. If you went the other way and said, I am just gonna get the people and culture stuff right, but I forget about the stuff on the previous slide, well, then you got a team that's gonna love each other and you'll be hugging it out all the time on the deck of the Titanic. So I wouldn't encourage that either. It requires both, necessary but not sufficient. You've gotta do both. And by the way, I give immense credit to the founders of SendGrid, to the early management team at SendGrid. Folks like Jim Franklin and Chad Vara, Michael Tognetti, did an extraordinary job of making sure that at SendGrid, as we got our company off the ground, we were maniacally focused on our 4H values. We call them happy, hungry, humble, and honest, and they're deeply ingrained in the company. They're deeply ingrained. And I think it's because of that that we have had a lot of success to date, and I pray that because of that, we'll have a lot of success in the future. And by the way, just a quick spoiler alert. Here we are 8 years later, hundreds of employees later. You know what you worry about now? It's the same set of things. None of it changes, guys. None of it changes, except for payroll. Some of the gridders that are here, don't worry. Except for payroll. You know you're gonna make payroll. But other than that, it's all the same set of concerns. Nothing changes. So how do you get to that spirit and mindset of, I'm gonna make sure I invest enough in my people, in my team, and in my culture? And I believe deeply in this concept of servant leadership. Lots of people define it in different ways. I think of the simplest definition, as in most things in life, are actually fairly basic. It is exactly what you would want in a leader or manager that you worked for. You'd want somebody, anybody here would want a manager or a leader who you thought actually cared about you, like as a human being, like personally and professionally, that they were gonna help you develop in your skills, in your career, right? That they were inspiring on the journey that we're on and why your work is so mission critical to achieving that goal. That's who I want to go work for. And so that's who I think I have to be for the people on my team. And I don't believe that the typical org chart that starts with the CEO at the top and it cascades down like this is the way to draw that picture. It should be inverted this way, where the CEO and the leadership team are at the bottom of the pyramid. They're there to support and help all the people that do the actual hard work of the business every day, that are rowing, and they're rowing hard. And yeah, we have hard jobs at the bottom of the pyramid. We got the rudder. right? We got to steer. We got to take care of all those stressful items on the first part. But they're doing the hard rowing. It is our jobs as servant leaders to remove obstacles and help them do their best work every day. I loved Amy's line. How do you help them have career-defining moments at our company? That is a big part of what we think makes this work and servant leadership. So just a couple practical tests. One, just as you go back to your day-to-day, some things that I hope you can take back. One, go and look at your calendars and make sure that you have, as leaders and as founders, how much time are you investing in one-on-ones, in group meetings, unstructured, no agenda, just show up in the room and say, hey, what's working, guys? What's working? What's not working? What are the opportunities that we have that we are not capitalizing on? What are the problems we have that are getting in the way of us being as great as we can be? And you know what's remarkable? If you invest that time, and I believe this deeply. Tomorrow morning I got breakfast with a new director hire. This afternoon I'm meeting with our entire tech ops team. Tomorrow afternoon I meet with our support organization of 40 people. There's no agenda. I show up and I ask them 4 simple words. How can I help? Because I'm at the bottom of that pyramid helping them do their best work. And I guarantee you, if all of you do that, if you help your teammates do their best work, there's no obstacle that your team and company cannot overcome. It is just an absolute truth. I believe it. So that's a big part of how you make servant leadership work. And the last thing I would just, this is not going to be new news, just like Amy said, be your own chief culture officer. Because that is, if you're at the bottom of that pyramid, that's a huge part of your job. Authentic energy, I love that. I love that phrase. I think that's exactly right. That it only happens if people see you living all of your values, your leaders living your values every day. I spend a session with every single new employee that comes into the company in our orientation classes, talking about our 4-H values. Why do they mean so much to us? Why are we cultish about it? We are cultish about our 4-H values. You have to be. It has to be distinctive to you, and you have to care. And you have to tell them, here's how we celebrate it, here's how we reinforce it, this is how we promote it. And then you implore them to be stewards of the culture. That you can be chief culture officer all day long, but if the other 399 people in your company aren't buying in, it's not going to happen. You can't scale it if you're the only person that cares that deeply. Every person has to care that deeply. And I implore them to be stewards of the culture. So those are hopefully just a handful of tactical examples of how you can do that, of really deeply investing in your people and your culture. The reason this is so important to me, I guess, there are a lot of different styles. Servant leadership ain't one of them. People that have read any autobiographies on great leaders like Steve Jobs or Larry Ellison probably wouldn't associate them with a notion of servant leadership. Lots of styles can work. This is just the one that works for me. It's worked well for me because of where I come from, my heritage. I'm a kid of 2 Indian immigrants who came from Bombay, India in the 60s. And my mom had this, she rests in peace, a worldview that is so in line with the spirit of what Eric was describing, of giving. That it was way more important to give than to take. And she would tell my brother and I this parable, this Indian parable all the time that I love and I try to share as often as I can because I think it's so powerful. And it's this: when we enter this world, we all enter this world as babies, kicking, screaming, with our fists clenched, like that little picture. When we pass from this world, we leave at peace with our hands open. What we enter into this world with as a baby, clenched in our fist, is a unique gift that is special and unique to you. And the purpose of your life and your journey is to go and figure out what that gift is and then give of that gift. And give and give and give. And when you are done giving of that gift, your time will have come and it'll be time to pass. And I always love the parable because at the soul of the parable is a spirit of giving. And I can tell you from personal experience that spirit of giving, that generous spirit, is alive and well and deeply woven into the DNA of this city, of this state. I joined SendGrid. I was fortunate to join September 30th of 2014, almost 3 years to the day. October 1st, I had an email. I went and checked, Eric, in my inbox. October 1st from Eric and the Colorado Technology Association. welcoming me to town. Welcoming me to town. The next day I had CEOs, Bart Lorang and the Full Contact guys. Bart went and bought me a beer in Boulder and said, hey, I just want to welcome you to the city. I know you're coming in from the outside. I want you to feel welcome here. That meant a lot to me. Brian Leach, CEO of Ibotta, said, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Took me on a walking tour of downtown Denver. The reason we are now over at 1801 California Avenue is because Brian took me by there. That spirit of giving makes this place very special, guys. Colorado is a unique place in this town, this vibe, that energy, what Eric described as the giving muscle in 2 parts, I think you said. That giving muscle is extraordinary here. And so I'd encourage, I believe that's what this week is all about. It's about everybody giving and helping one another, because this startup shit's hard. It's hard. And it does take a village. And you've got a community of 13,000 plus strong, I bet, by the time this week is out, in that village that are gonna help you. So take advantage of it. My last parting comment to you guys, I joked earlier about the stress and strain that building companies can put, not just on ourselves, but on the people that we love. And so I just encourage you all, I try to do this as often as I can, I probably don't do it as much as I should. The people that we love the most, who we hold nearest and dearest, those are the folks that enable us to go chase our dreams. So go home and tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for helping us chase our dreams, because it's crazy what we try to do, the problems and challenges we are trying to overcome, the stress that we take on to ourselves, and it seeps around us. You just got to make sure that the people to whom we need to invest in people, invest in people the most, are those that are our most beloved, the closest to us. So don't, whether it's tonight or this week or this weekend, go do something for them and say thank you, because they deserve it the most. With that, thanks for your attention. Have a great Denver Startup Week.
Awesome stuff, awesome. Thank you. Let's make him feel well. Let's make him feel welcome again. Great stuff right there about investing your time with others. Samir, next time you take a photo like that by the ocean, invest your time with me, okay? I'll be there. All right, we're gonna keep it rolling. I do wanna teach you guys one thing that I know helped us win Super Bowl 50. It's called stand up and shake it out. When I say stand up and shake it out, stand up, move your shoulders, move your hips. Stand up, shake it out. There you go. Treated you like a football player today. There you go, sit on down. Get some of that breakfast out, that sugar moving. This next person coming up is so awesome, I asked her for her autograph, okay? Rachel Carlson is the CEO of the Guild Foundation. Anybody heard of Guild? This woman is amazing. I love this part here. Rachel co-founded Guild here in Denver, is proud to call her business female-founded, venture-funded, and mission-led. Is that amazing or what? Is that amazing? Rachel also has some very, very special news today. They just closed a Series B funding round of $21 million, making it the largest investment in a female-founded company this year. A little more. You see why I asked her for her autograph. Guild is the premier education platform that allows employers to offer education as a benefit to their frontline employees. So please help me welcome the star of this local homegrown leadership, Rachel Carlson, everybody. Rachel.
Yes, so crazy right now. Most incredibly, it's your girl, me, it's your boy.
Thank you, Ryan. That was awesome. As he said, I'm Rachel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Guild Education. It is awesome to be here today. You all know this, but Denver is not only the best place to live, it is seriously the best place to grow a business. I had the privilege of bringing Guild back to Denver, my hometown, about a year and a half ago when we were a team of 4, and we're now a team of 62, helping to provide economic mobility to working adults in the U.S. The way we do that is by helping companies offer education as a benefit to their frontline employees. We do that through a network of nonprofit universities and a team of Guild coaches, some of whom are here today, who help each of our students figure out how to go back to school while working full-time. The best way to tell what we do is to talk about one of our students. This is Carlos. Carlos lives here in Denver, and he's a service manager at Chipotle Mexican Grill, another awesome Denver-grown company. Carlos has tried college before, twice actually, first as a teen and again as a young father of two. But both times, Carlos had life get in the way, and he had to put college and all of his dreams on the back burner to pay the bills and to make family life work. But this time, it's different. Carlos was one of the first employees at Chipotle to enroll in their education benefits program with Guild. And we're hell-bent on making it different for him this time in a couple of different ways. First, Carlos has $5,000 from Chipotle to go back to school. And I'll share a little bit more about why that's a great investment for Chipotle, but for Carlos, it means he doesn't have to go in debt this time to go back to college. What it also means is that he has support of a coach and an advisor to help him find the right nonprofit school in our network to head back to college. And he has a coach that checks in with him every week to figure out how to monitor the challenges of going to school and going to work at the same time and balancing his family responsibilities as a dad of two. He also got to find the right program for him. He was pretty nervous to go back to college for a third time. So he started off in a management training program and got his feet under him, remembered how to write papers, speak up in class, and then he enrolled in a bachelor's degree at Colorado State University's global campus. And at the age of 53 next year, he's going to earn his bachelor's degree. And I believe him when he says that is just the beginning for him. So Carlos is one of 64 million Americans who works today but hasn't yet earned a bachelor's degree or a higher ed credential. And since we're in Denver, I'm going to debunk some Peter Thiel startup mythology here for a minute. So higher ed matters more today in the US than it ever has before. 95% of the jobs that have been created since the recession have gone to someone who has a bachelor's degree. 95%. Moreover, we all love coding and software engineering, and we're here to celebrate that this week. But that has not been the largest contributor of jobs in the US economy for the last 10 years. Do you guys know what has? Management. The people who manage people, patients, processes, or projects are taking most of the jobs that have been developed in the last 10 years. So for someone like Carlos, someone who's already learning management and leadership skills on the job, going back to college can mean combining those skills that he's already developing with a pathway that's guaranteed to help him find footing in the middle class. So for us, we're thinking constantly about how to do college differently for the 64 million Americans who need to go back. And it starts with aligning interests with some unique parties that haven't normally come to the table. We have to do this differently than the 18-year-old who gets dropped off by mom and dad in the minivan at college. It's different for Carlos, and we have to bring all these different groups to the table. So we start by aligning the Fortune 1000. As I mentioned earlier, it's actually a positive ROI investment for Chipotle to invest in Carlos's education. The way we do that is we make sure that it costs less to help Carlos succeed on the job and grow in his job by going to college than it would cost to hire and train his replacement. When you do that, the equation starts to work for companies all around America. The second thing we do is we work with nonprofit regional universities who are struggling to keep up. Little known fact is that University of Phoenix, ITT Tech, etc., were the #1 buyers of Google ads in the 2000s. What that means is $4,000 to $6,000 were being spent to acquire a student like Carlos, and he was then paying for that in his tuition bill. We cut that out. We instead introduce students and companies directly to top nonprofit universities, and we take that $4,000 to $6,000, passing it along in tuition savings, or into paying for that coaching and advising that's helping Carlos succeed in school and in work. And then finally, we align with our 64 million students that we want to serve. What we have to do for them is different than a college dorm or a lecture hall. They need work-based learning that's related to school. So Carlos, for example, is earning college credit for the management training he did on the job. They need flexibility. They need classes in the evenings, weekends, and advising that wraps around that experience. And they need support, Because when you've tried college before, like the 30 million Americans like Carlos who've tried college but not earned a degree, you need to know you aren't alone. And so we've got a team of coaches who work with our students every week to help them figure out how to do this thing. So for us, being aligned with all of our partners also means we think a lot about internal alignment, and it's something I'm excited to see growing here in Denver, and we're excited to do. We're a certified B Corp at Guild, which means that we believe that our margin reinforces our mission, and our mission reinforces our margin. The way we do that is by ensuring that every time we expand our impact, we also expand our output. And we're proud to have a really cool community in Colorado here of other B Corp organizations that are growing and really thriving in Denver and in Boulder. As we think about what growing our business looks like and figuring out how to expand, it was really important to us to think about how to do so with a business model. When my co-founder Britt and I started looking at education models similar to Guild, what we did was we found tons of regional efforts that were doing a phenomenal job of helping maybe a couple hundred students or maybe 1,000 students head back to college, but they were relying on unsustainable grant funding and often really struggling to get a flywheel going to build a business. So we've made a dedicated commitment to say, we need to do this in a scalable way if we're going to even scratch the surface of serving 64 million Americans. So what we've done, and we're just at the bottom of the hill, but we're climbing the mountain, is we've set out to build a scalable education platform and a network that will allow students around the country to take classes with us and to go back to school in partnership with their companies. And we're off to the races. We're hiring as fast as we can, and we've got a small but mighty team, and it's growing. So if you're looking for a job or know folks who are, please shoot us a note. And thanks so much for having me here today.
All right. Congratulations again, Rachel, on your fantastic company. Congratulations. How about these leaders, huh? Giving you some great information, education, investing your time, authentic energy. Fantastic, fantastic. Thanks for requesting it because I learned from it as well. Next up, we have an announcement from the Colorado Technology Recruiting Coalition. Please help me welcome Scott Hymas to the stage. Scott, where you at?
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Hey!
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Thank you, Ryan.
Bring 'em out.
Good morning, Denver Startup Week. It's great to be here. I'm here to tell you a little bit about a new group that we formed called the Colorado Technology Recruiting Coalition. And essentially what this is all about is trying to bring more software engineers to Denver. It's one of our biggest challenges. There's a lot of energy here. There's a tremendous momentum behind us. But having more and more and more software engineers coming into Denver is really crucial for us to continue the growth, the success, the expansion that we're all striving to do. And so what we've done is we've banded together this group of folks, Four Winds Interactive, Ibotta, HealthGrade, Zero, Workday, Ping, Home Advisor, as well as the Downtown Denver Partnership, the Colorado Technology Association, and the Office of Economic Development and IT. And we banded together to collaborate and build a brand that we can go out into the world and position Denver as the fastest growing technology hub in the country. And so we've gone and we've hired an agency called Cultivator, great agency here in town. We're building a brand, and we're going to start an advertising campaign, first in San Francisco, but in the future in other areas like Austin or Montreal or New York City, where there's a tremendous amount of engineers. We're going to try and bring them to Colorado. So the initiative, I think I missed a slide here. Sorry. So the initiative, we're going to talk more about this at our base camp panel coming up tomorrow. But essentially, our objective here is to drive more growth by acquiring more engineers and bringing them to Denver. And we're going to be doing that through a pretty significant advertising campaign that will drive a tremendous amount of interest in Denver. So come learn more about it tomorrow. We'd love to have others collaborate with us, and we'll be off and running and driving more growth for Denver. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Scott. Anybody want a free Denver Startup Week t-shirt? Anybody? We got 6 of them here. Put your hands up high. your hands up high. I may or may not have that Peyton Manning arm. There you go. Uh-oh. Too much ribbon. There you go. All right, way in the back there. Way in the back. You gotta pass it back, though. You gotta pass it back. I'm not throwing my ring off. Y'all too close. No way, no way. No way. Over there, my man with the glasses in the back. Y'all pass it back. Y'all pass it back. Do your part. Do your part. All right. Well, if you didn't get a free t-shirt, now you can buy them at Base Camp. Speaking of our friends at Chase for Business, we'd like to welcome Chris Jensen to the stage. Chris.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody.
Thank you, Denver. It's great to be here. I'm Chris Jensen. I'm the region manager for JP Chase here in Colorado. And on behalf of my 12,000 Colorado colleagues at JP Chase, we're thrilled to be here, and we're very proud sponsors of Denver Startup Week. I've heard that phrase my whole life, proud sponsor, and I always thought it was proud because you got to give money, but really our pride is a source of being associated with this amazing community. And hearing from leaders like Amy and Samir and Rachel, and I want to take to heart Samir's advice to spend more time with my team. Could you do something about all that email that keeps coming to me? But seriously, it's really great to be here. It's exhilarating to be part of this awesome community that is driven to support our entrepreneurs and provide them with resources to get to the next level. At JP Chase, we take great pride in supporting Startup Week, and we serve almost 160,000 businesses here in Colorado and 2.1 million consumer customers. So thank you all our customers. We appreciate it. As members of this community, we want to help startup entrepreneurs learn from each other, support each other, and connect. That's why we're sponsors of Base Camp. And Base Camp this year, as you know, is being switched to the Commons on Champa. It's a great place to get together, to connect, to grab a cup of coffee, to get energized, and to continue on this week, as there's so many great opportunities. We've planned a couple of pretty interesting panels. One is Thursday, there'll be a panel with Chase's Business Banking CEO, Andrew Cressy, and he'll be together with SBA Administrator Linda McMahon, so please don't miss that one. But now I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do, and I have a tie on because I'm giving some money away. So we're proud to once again announce a new round of philanthropic investments here in the community, grants that will resonate long after this week is over, and which we hope will create a lasting impact on entrepreneurs who are looking for programs to help them thrive. In celebration of Denver Startup Week 2017, we are announcing 5 grants to local nonprofit organizations that provide resources vital to growing Colorado's diverse entrepreneurial and economic ecosystem. Diversity in our startup community is really important, and the more we have, the stronger and better we are. So this is part of our Chase's Small Business Forward program, which is a $75 million 3-year philanthropic effort throughout the country. And today, we get to honor our 5 recipients. They will all be receiving a grant in the amount of $60,000. And if my math's right, that's $300,000. So for those grants will go to, and if you could stand while I mention you to receive a little bit of recognition, those grants go to Accion, Colorado Enterprise Fund, the Commons on Champa, Community Reinvestment Fund, and finally, Mikasa Resource Center. Thank you so much for all you do for this community. Thank you, thank you. The resources that these groups provide really will continue to strengthen Colorado's position as a leader in innovation and growth, and I encourage everyone to tap into that resource. If you want to learn a little bit more about what they do, tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Base Camp, we have a panel discussion on access to flexible capital, training, and technical assistance. It'll be led by my colleague, Joe Coleman, who heads up business banking for Colorado, and many of those recipients will be on that panel. So please plan on being there, and don't forget to hang out at Base Camp. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. Hey, thanks as well for the donation to our bank accounts, right? We all want another $1,000 in our bank accounts. Is that part of it too? Hey, I like that. Hey, he wanted it. Let's give it to him. Woo! Woo! All right. Our city is amazing, and the people that make it great exemplify the can-do attitude of every successful business. Our mayor, Michael B. Hancock, continues to support innovation and entrepreneurship that helps grow small business development. So Denver Startup Week breakfast. Each and every one of you here today gets to say, I had breakfast with the mayor this morning. So let's give him a warm welcome, Mayor Michael B. Hancock.
Wait, Ryan. Ryan. Come here. What was your playing weight?
315 pounds.
Lord have mercy.
Hot yoga.
Don't
Anybody
he
hot yoga?
look good? Don't he look good?
Get that Bikram, yo.
You look good, man.
Speedo vibes.
Speedo vibe. We could have lived without the Speedo. You look good, though. Startup Week, how you doing? If you're inspired, say woo. I have been so inspired by the speakers up here today. What an awesome morning. This is the biggest Startup Week breakfast I have ever attended. Give yourselves a round of applause. You look awesome. I always feel so overdressed when I come in here. Entrepreneurs wearing these blue jeans, flip-flops, Bermuda shorts. When I'm done being mayor, I'm going to start my own company. I'm selling blue jeans. Is that all right? Anybody want to invest? It's hot around the world. Listen, I want to just say a couple things, and I'm going to get out of the way. First of all, I want you, if you would, join with me in thanking all of the coordinators and sponsors, especially Tammy Dorr and the Downtown Denver Partnership, who go above and beyond to support our city, our downtown. Tremendous work. Awesome job. Thank you. It was their vision, their fortitude, their ingenuity, their innovation, their creativity that really started this whole effort here. Now, I understand that there are 15,000 people registered for this week. That has broken our all-time record. Congratulations. That's great news. So you've heard these inspiring stories, and when I talk around the country and around the world about Denver, and when people ask, how did Denver become the talk of the world, to become top of class when it comes to best place to live, best place to start a job, best place to start a company, best place to raise your family, I really talk about companies like SendGrid. Samir and SendGrid, thank you. I talk about Ibotta. Thank you. I talk about Guild and what Rachel and her company have done. Thank you. Because here's the reality. Small businesses and startups saved Denver. 70,000 plus jobs in the last 6 years. 3,600 companies post-recession have come or started in this city. Most of the jobs created, most of the jobs are from our small businesses and our startups. You saved Denver, Colorado, and not only did you save it, you've made it globally competitive. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Next thing I will share with you is that when I became mayor and I started studying cities around the world, and I would look at some cities that don't come close to being able to offer the quality of life and opportunity that exists in Denver, Colorado. But I would look at them and they would have twice, 3 times the number of Fortune 500 companies. I'm like, why in the world, how in the world are they able to outdo Denver? Nothing against Minneapolis, love Minneapolis, but who the hell wants to live in Minneapolis? It's cold, it's frozen tundra, nothing. I know the mayor of Minneapolis is going to call me. Don't tweet that out. They're going to call me. Don't do that to me. Then I will get all called by the governor and the mayor of Minneapolis. And Minnesota will call me, the governor and the Minneapolis mayor will call me. And I don't need that. But you have to ask, how do they have twice the number of Fortune 500 companies in Denver. Because they started right here with small businesses and startups. And they nurtured them. And they created the ecosystem. As Samir would say, they created the culture that grew them. And they made them know, we want you here and we want you to stay here. And so that's the way we try to transfix our city. We want our small businesses, we want our entrepreneurs to know we want you here. We want to do everything we can to nurture you. We want to attract venture capital here along with you. We're going to do everything that we can to create the market for you. We're going to help you connect around the world through an airport that you can be proud of, to say we can go anywhere we want from Denver International Airport. We want our neighborhoods to be safe. We want our schools to be great. And we want the quality of life to be next to none. That's how we keep you here. That's how we make sure that you're able to grow your companies here, to attract the best workforce from around this country and from around the world. So you do your part, keep doing what you do, and we'll do our part and keep doing what we do. This here is our partnership. This is how we roll. This is what creates the Denver swag, the greatest place to start a business and to grow your business in the entire United States of America. As I leave the stage, I want to leave this saying with you that my son decided to write up on our little grease board on the refrigerator. It made me think about small businesses, because what you do is a constant repetition to be great, right? And you do anything 10,000 times or 10,000 hours, you're an expert, right? And you sell that to the marketplace, right? So if you didn't know Ric Flair when he said, woo, you probably won't know Bruce Lee. Ryan, you know Bruce Lee? Woo! One of the greatest martial artists and actors as I grew up. We all watched Bruce Lee. And he talked about what made greatness. And he said, you know, I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks one time, but I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. Keep doing what you do. Become the expert. And together we'll continue to help Denver rise to be the greatest place on earth to live, to call home, and to be the place for some of the greatest businesses in the world. Thank you all. Enjoy Startup Week.
All right. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, he almost threw me the mic. I'd have dropped it for sure, for sure. How about this mayor, huh? Oh, wait a second. The mayor does a selfie. Y'all want to get in the...
We have a tradition, right? You all are new, so you probably don't know this. But we have a tradition of doing a selfie. Ryan, you kind of tall. Why don't you...
Right. Everybody get in here. Hey, everybody.
Can everybody do this?
On three, say breakfast with the mayor. 1, 2, 3. Breakfast with the mayor. Yeah.
All right, Startup Week.
There you go. Another round of applause for the awesome Mayor Hancock. Man, I'm so excited to introduce this next person. Does anybody have 8 million followers on YouTube? You do. Does anybody have a video shot with Nike that has 50 million views? I didn't think so. But the man who apparently needs no introduction, you've heard of him before, the keynote speaker for Denver Startup Week, Casey Neistat.
Ryan's so good at this. I know he's like a world champion footballer, but I mean, he should really think about. I want you guys to know that the pros here at Denver Startup Week were like, why don't we plug in your computer for you and have it all set up? And I was like, no, I got this. And they were like, that's going to look unprofessional. And I was like, I got it. And they're like, we can't have you walk out there and plug in your own computer. And I was like, no, totally cool. So I just want you guys to know that this is a tip-top operation here, and I'm the one who, hey guys. I'm so psyched to be in Colorado. Colorado is my third favorite state. I kind of think that that's sort of fair, because like I'm from New York, so that has to be number one. Otherwise, I'm just kind of a jerk. And then like we're moving to California at some point in time, the family's out, so that kind of has to be number 2. So basically that means like you remove those 2 and it makes Colorado my number 1. So I want to talk to you guys today. About sort of my journey, my accidental journey as an entrepreneur, and I really want to focus on embracing what you don't know and how that can be sort of the ultimate virtue when it's about being an entrepreneur. Fear, which is probably the biggest part of being an entrepreneur, and then passion, which drives everything. And you know, there isn't much that I haven't shared in my on my YouTube channel. Like when you put out a daily show for 800 days in a row, you really exhaust who you are as a person. But when I get to, I know, just run out of material. It's like, that's it. It's everything. But getting to be here physically and connect with people, especially in an environment like this, especially speaking with entrepreneurs and people in the startup space, this is a unique opportunity. And with that, I want to really narrow my focus today on what we all have in common. So with that, I want to give sort of a tiny, hyper-abbreviated bio, because the older I get, and I'm getting super, super old. My wife says I'm too old to wear these pants, but I think these pants are awesome. The more I realize that my like really checkered past has contributed to who I am and what I've been able to do in a way that is tremendous. And it's one of those things like you always think you had really bad parents, and then you realize you had good parents. I was always really bummed at having such like a challenging teenage years, and then in my 20s, a really challenging time finding my footing in my career. And now I realize like that is one of the greatest things that had happened to me, that could have ever happened to me. So with that, like I was a horrible kid. Really, like I have 2 kids now, one's a teenager, so I can say that with some degree of authority that I was I was every parent's worst nightmare. Thrown out of school, I never really understood academia. I had no appreciation for school. I used to fight with my parents a lot. I ran away from home when I was 15 years old, and I never went back. And about a year and a half later, I had a kid. I was 17 years old, had a kid, and I lived in a trailer park, and I got a check, and I got diapers, and I got milk from the state every month. And without those things, I probably wouldn't have been able to support my family. And all of that left me feeling very small. You know, like I could remember hearing my friend Kyle. Kyle's a cool kid. I remember Kyle's mom. She was not cool. I remember Kyle's mom, like, within earshot of me being like, I don't want you hanging out with Casey. He's a loser. And that sucked because she was right. Like, what parent in their right mind would want their kid hanging out with, like, some dope who dropped out of high school in the 10th grade and knocked up his first girlfriend and works in a restaurant scrubbing dishes to support his family? That's a loser. And it made me feel small. Being a kid in school and always being in trouble made me feel small. And one day I played with a computer that you could edit video on, and I was like, wow, it blew my mind. So being a reckless, at the time, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I maxed out my credit cards. You guys were talking about Ric Flair earlier. My first credit card was a WWF then. World Wrestling, like, credit card. It had Bret the Hitman Hart on it. It was totally awesome. It was so awesome. Maxed out my credit cards, and I bought a computer. I bought the first iMac that you could edit video on. And I would edit these little videos during the day when I was at home watching my baby. And all of a sudden, I felt like I had a voice. I felt like I could express myself. And I think that's the first time in my life where I really felt passion, like a kind of passion that there's no turning that switch off, like an idea or something that's inside of you that's so powerful that really dictates your every action, everything you do. And I couldn't ignore it. And I made videos all day, every day. And the version of sharing videos as a 19-year-old in 1999, the way it would go viral is I would export to tape, and then from tape to VHS. You guys remember VHS? And then I would get in the car, and I'd put my kid in the car seat, and we would drive to a family member's house or friend's house, and then I'd sit them down, and I'd put it in their VCR, and I'd click play. And then we'd watch it, and I'd take my tape back, and I'd drive to another friend's house. That's how I shared videos. I'm not kidding. Like, that's how I shared videos. And even so, like, that was like, I can now express myself. I've got something. So when my baby mama dumped me a year later, baby mama is a politically correct term. I wouldn't have brought that up here if it wasn't. She is my baby mama. When my baby mama dumped me, my like lofty 5-10 year plan of one day living in New York City, you know, I lived about 3 hours outside the city, southeastern Connecticut, sort of a lower middle class military industrial town. My ambition of one day living in the big city, it's kind of like, fuck it. And I just moved to the city. I had $800, I had a 2-year-old kid, I had a 10th grade high school education, and I only made myself one promise, and that's that I would not wash dishes ever again. Just as an aside, how many people in here have worked at any job in the food service industry? I love each and every one of you. I have a rule in life that is never to hire an employee or never date someone who has not worked in the food service industry. Because if you have not worked any job in the food service industry, you do not know what life is. So I didn't want to wash dishes anymore, and I hustled. And the hustle was brutal. The hustle was really, really tough. And it was tough because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just lost. Literally like stapling up posters around New York City that were like, need a bar mitzvah video made? Call Casey. And it was like $20 at Kinko's, and like nobody called me. It sucked. And I really mean when I say hustle. Like my first job in New York City was as a bike messenger. They'll give anybody a job as a bike messenger, which seems a little disconnected considering you're transporting ostensibly valuable documents. And anyway, I got a job as a bike messenger. And this is 2001. This is when you paid for your cell phone by minutes. Does anybody remember minutes? Yeah, you had 200 minutes between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You had to watch your minutes. So they had to call in my dispatches on my cell phone. And at the end of the first week, my cell phone bill was $450, and my paycheck was $380. So it cost me $70 to work 45 hours riding a bike around New York City, delivering packages, risking my life. Not a great job. Never been good with numbers, but I'm pretty sure that's a raw deal right there. And ultimately, like, you know, there was this fine artist, big deal sculptor, and he used to make all of his art sculptures out of those police line do not cross barriers, you know, like the wooden kind of sawhorse looking things you see all over the city. And he was making sculptures out of them. He put a bounty out for $10 for each one of those like 2 by 12s. You could bring them. And I was like, okay, it's $10. So I went around in the middle of the night and sort of collected all the ones that I could find. And I brought them to him, which, by the way, when I was wheeling them down 6th Avenue in the middle of the night, covered in a tarp, a cop pulled up, and he was like, out of his car window, "What are you doing?" And I looked at the cop, and I looked at my barriers, and I looked at the cop, and I was like, "I got to get these to Chinatown." And he was like, "All right, good luck." I was just being honest with him. And I brought those to that artist, and he was like, "Where did you get these?" And I was like, "Hey, I was told $10 per barrier, not an interrogation." And in any event, he hired me. He gave me a job for $10 an hour. That was a pretty terrible job. My job for him was he was building a gigantic sculpture out of cardboard, and my job was to take square pieces of cardboard, and out of those square pieces of cardboard, cut smaller square pieces of cardboard. But still, it was something. It was something. It wasn't washing dishes. My paycheck actually had a profit involved with it. It was something. And after hours, my brother Van and I, when the boss wasn't around and we didn't have to cut squares out of larger squares, we started making little videos about his artwork. And one day he busted us. He caught us, and he was like, "Show me what you've been doing." We showed him the videos, and he was like, this is all you're to do from now on. Just make videos about me. And we're like, great. Perfect. And then ultimately, one of his patrons, a rich guy who bought his artwork, saw the videos, and he was like, "Cool, would these guys make a video for my husband? It's his 50th birthday. We want a birthday video at his party." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Are you kidding me? Anything involving a camera and a check, sign me up." And he was like, "Here are some people I'd like you to interview for Fred's birthday." And the first person on the list was like President Bill Clinton. And then it just kept, this is kind of an important guy. And we made that video, and we played that video at the event, I remember, and afterwards we were like the big deal. Everybody was like, oh, that video is fantastic. Will you do work for me? How can we work? In any event, this is kind of how the snowball began. And I'm getting granular because I think it is the details that are often glossed over. And it is shitty, and it's discouraging. And that whole portrait I just painted you, that was 5-6 years of my life. That is an eternity. And that eternity, those are the highlights of that. Those are the best parts of that eternity. And it was brutal, but that was the grind. And at the core of all that was this passion. I thought then it was to make movies. I didn't really understand what it was. You know, making movies 10, 15 years ago just meant getting a movie into a movie theater, and to me this is the only way I knew how to get there. Now I understand it's something much bigger than just making movies, but it's about sharing ideas and sharing perspectives, and my medium of choice happens to be moving images. But back then, it was just a straight hustle. So I want to take a 2-minute break here and play a little video for you guys. And I don't mean to abandon that story, but I want to pick it up somewhere else. So this video that I'm going to show you is really stupid. I want to be 100% clear on how stupid this video is. This video is really stupid, but I don't have anything else in my career that I think was so unexpected and so impactful in everything I did and who I am than this really stupid movie. So why don't I play this really stupid movie for you, and then I'm going to break down what this really stupid movie represented for me. This is like 2 minutes long, so if it gets super boring, just like whatever, Twitter or Instagram, and you'll hear when it's over because I'll start talking again. I'm getting a ticket for riding my bike not in the bike lane. What's the fine?
You're a bicyclist, so it's anywhere from $10 up to $130, depending on your record. But it's a bicycle summit. So bicycle summit is for not riding in a bicycle lane.
You know.
Lower. The red light's coming.
So I got a ticket for not riding in the bike lane, but often there are obstructions that keep you from properly riding in the bike lane.
Listen up. As you've been hearing on our show and elsewhere, the police continue to crack down on biking infractions. As the number of bikers explodes throughout the city, ticketing is on the rise. Casey in Manhattan, you got a ticket this month?
Yeah, I got a ticket about 3 weeks ago for riding my bike not in the bike lane.
Not in the bike lane. Alex is holding up a sign that says, you could have just said it.
Oh, okay.
His sign says, not illegal.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known that before I paid the $50 ticket.
Well, so...
So, to give a little context of when I made that video, so that was 2011, so it's like 5 years after 6 years after my story kind of ended before. Like in between that time, I had a number of successes. I had an opportunity to work with a very smart entrepreneur himself, a guy who started a company called Nantucket Nectars. You know those juices, like Snapples? This guy, Tom, started that, and then he sold the company and doing interesting things. I met him, and he's like, let's do a big project together. We ended up doing something, ended up selling that something as a TV show to HBO. It was this huge, big break, lots of ups and downs. In any event, coming out of a big down, a couple of years after my show on HBO, me trying to figure out what I wanted to do, but now trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I'd had some success. I had money, I had some notoriety, I had my own apartment that had its own shower, and I wasn't sure, and I was scared. And that video, that stupid video, was one of the first videos I made on my YouTube channel. When I made that video, I remember my YouTube channel had like 300 subscribers, and I still had a show on HBO. And I remember like my teenage son, who was 13 at the time, his friends in middle school had YouTube channels that were bigger than mine, and I had my own show on HBO. I was like, this isn't working. And I made that video. And I made that video because I was upset. I was back to being that angry teenager. I was upset at this police officer. I thought it was not fair. So I made that video, and I put it online, and the thing went crazy. New York City's mayor, Michael Bloomberg, he had to respond to that video in a press conference. It was all over the news. It's all anybody talked about. And the thing that came out of it that really caught me off guard, the reason why I show that very movie today, is because I got a call from the New York Times. The New York Times is a small paper out of New York. And they were like, Casey, there's a guy named Jason Spingarn-Koff. He's like, Casey, we're starting a new initiative. It's called OpDocs. We make short movies about opinion issues in New York City. We love your bike lanes video, and we'd love you to come work with us and make videos with the New York Times. And I was like, we're talking about the same video here, right? The one where I crashed my bike into a cop car. And he was like, yes. And it was this huge opportunity that I did, and we made 7 movies together, I think, and it really brought my career to a new level and presented all kinds of opportunities. But the biggest takeaway for me was in a phone call with a new person at the Times, my junior editor at the Times, a girl named Lindsay. And I remember talking to her, and I was like, how'd you get this job? And she's like, well, I majored in journalism at Harvard. Harvard's a small school that's in Harvard, and then after school, I went and studied here, and I worked here, and I worked there, and I think a lot of luck and a great interview got me this job at the New York Times. How'd you get a job at the New York Times, Casey? I was like, I crashed my bike into a cop car. I tell that story because I think that story really underscores this idea of embracing what you don't know, embracing that passion that drives you to do things. For me, it was sharing a voice, sharing an opinion. And then not being scared of what you don't know. So to put that out, I wasn't sure what might happen. It just felt kind of silly. But what came of it was something that was entirely unexpected. Shortly after making that video, my YouTube channel really took off because of the growth of that single video. And I made more and more videos and all kinds of interesting opportunities, including working with brands like Nike and Mercedes-Benz and Google, and building out a career in marketing, leveraging that leveraged the reach and the success and the creative of my YouTube channel, all these wonderful things. I built a really successful production company on it that made, for the first time ever, like real money. I was able to support my family. Like things were great. And in 2013, I got a call. And this very strange, unexpected opportunity fell in my lap. And it was from a guy named Sepp Kambar, and he was a professor at MIT. And they had a grant from the Rockefeller Foundation, and it was an organization that was structured, a project that was structured by an organization called the Sundance Institute, which is a branch of the Sundance Film Festival. Long story long, they wanted to invite a filmmaker, one filmmaker, to go study at MIT, out of MIT's Media Lab. And they extended the offer for that fellowship to me, which was awesome. And it was terrifying for me because I was, and always will be, a 10th grade high school dropout. That's the extent of my formal education. And here I was being invited to the most prestigious academic institution in the world. And to go there required shutting down my company. To go study for a semester in Boston and really focus meant sort of leaving behind this thing that I had built that was successful. And I had no idea, and it was terrifying. And as if that prospect wasn't scary enough, sprinkle on top of that, my new wife of 2 months was a month and a half pregnant and thought it was a terrible idea for me to leave her. She was right. Leave her in New York City by herself, pregnant. But I saw this as an opportunity, something that I could not see what was on the other side of. It was an opportunity that the emotions I felt about it were akin to when I thought of moving to New York City as a 19-year-old with nothing. I just knew that on the other side of this would be something interesting. So that's what I did. I went and I lived in Massachusetts, I lived in Boston, and I went to school every day. I rode my skateboard with my backpack to MIT's Media Lab. And I surrounded myself with some of the smartest people I'd ever met. And my professor there, Sepp, who I'm very, very close with today, he's probably one of the only people I'd ever feel really confident in calling a mentor. I learned so much. And when I was there, I read this book by Nick Bilton called Hatching Twitter, and it was about the birth of Twitter. And being around all of these technologists, all of these brilliant technologists, and then reading this book about how one of the biggest social media networks in the world came to be, I came to a conclusion that I could do that. You should laugh at that. But because that's all it was, is I was like, I don't know how to do the stuff these people do. They literally just wrote a new language right there. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to build things, but they do. And I feel like what I could do is work with people like this. We could do something. And I had this little morsel of an idea, and I remember telling Sepp, my MIT professor, this idea, and he said, cool, Casey, is this a project or is this a company? And I said, this is a company. And he was like, great, I want to be your first investor. And he slid a check for $100,000 across the table. He's a professor, and he's done okay. He's no zillionaire. This was a big deal. And I remember that very moment was the moment that I knew that by hook or crook, I couldn't fail because I couldn't let him down. I know Gary Vaynerchuk's name was mentioned before, and he is an icon in the startup world, as he should be. He's a tremendous inspiration, that guy. I remember meeting with him and pitching him my entire idea. And just he had this quizzical look on his face, and I was like, you don't get it, do you? And he was like, nope, no idea what you're talking about. He's like, put me down for $500,000. And Gary explained to me then, he was like, look, I bet on the jockey, not on the horse. He was like, it's your passion that I'm investing in. And I realized later just how important that passion was. With every investor we tried to pitch to, with every venture capitalist we sat down with, by the time I made it out to Silicon Valley, I had a proper CTO, someone who's very experienced in the space. And every time we'd have strategy and a plan and a deck that we would stick to really outline our product and show what it's capable of and where we want to take it, their eyes would glaze over. But when I would just sit there and freak the fuck out and let them know how serious I was, they would get excited. And I can tell you now that, I sold my company a year ago, and for the first time in my life, I have money to invest. And I do invest in startups, and I invest in young people, and I invest in people. And it's always the person, it's always that passion. Because when I started this talk, I talked about how now as an old man, looking back at when I was younger, the one true thing that led me to success every single time was that passion. It was an unrelenting passion. It was believing in something so much that no matter what, I would succeed. And just as an aside, listening to some of the previous speakers talk about tact and management and the thoughtfulness and business practices, I don't know anything about any of that. I am a horrible business leader. I am a horrible manager. I don't know how to do any of these things. I'm pretty good at hiring people to do these things for me, but I'm not good at these things. And I bring that up because I am someone who started several successful companies. I'm someone who sold my technology company a year ago. I've fallen into success in the world of startups, and it's always been that passion. I characterize it more honestly as brute force and ignorance. It's a blindness to the way things are supposed to be done, driven by an absolute unrelenting desire and appetite, an insatiable passion that will take me to where I want to be. So I want to end today by sharing with you guys a little movie. It's a movie I made earlier this year, and it's a movie that I've wanted to make for a really, really long time. Because what it is, it's a manifesto, it's a call to arms. And I made this movie about YouTube creators. That is all of my peers on YouTube, which is probably still certainly my most well-known, but one of my biggest businesses, what I do on YouTube. It's also the thing that I love doing the most. So I wanted to make a video about me and all of my peers on YouTube. But the further I get away from having made this video, the more I realize that this video is much more about that passion. And this video is about me having had confronted that passion at every turn in my life. And it's true for every person in this video, and just how dynamic and universal a message it is. So I think I'm gonna play this video, and then because the clock says that I have to get off the stage, I don't think I'm gonna come back out. So I'm just gonna play this video, but this is a really good one to end on. Wait, don't clap yet. The really fun part about this video is that this video, I wanted to make it for a long time, and I couldn't figure out how to make it, and because it's expensive. And I ultimately was able to make it by bringing Samsung on to bankroll the production. And they were very happy with the way it turned out. It was a mutually beneficial relationship. But I just think that particularly to this audience, there's a kind of some irony to the fact that this video itself was a business, and it required pitching, it required finding the funding, getting people to believe in a passion to make this one video. Should I click play now? Okay, I'm gonna click play. I'm gonna watch it with you, but don't look at me. Watch okay. To the haters, the doubters, my 7th grade vice principal. To everyone who's ever told anyone with a dream they can't. This video's for you. Keep your head down, follow the rules, do as you're told, play it safe. Wait your turn, ask permission, learn to compromise. This is terrible advice. If I were to write an autobiography, a book about my life, one title that would work would be Do What You Can't, because that idea encapsulates everything I've ever done. Like when I wanted to move to New York City and my dad was like, you can't, you don't have any money. Or when I first said I wanted to make movies and it was, you can't, you didn't go to film school. I want to have a TV show, you can't, Casey, you're not pretty enough. And to go even further, like if I were to characterize what this new generation of content creators and filmmakers, what we all do on YouTube and everywhere else is, we do what we can't.
Les 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh my God. You can't be an action movie filmmaker, but you get your parkour friends to dress up like video game characters, jump off some buildings, and you can. Right, Devin?
Yes.
You can't have a talk show, but you have a webcam and you can.
What's up, you beautiful bastards? What?
This is my first YouTube video ever.
Next thing you know, you're interviewing the president.
I heard that you're going to be out of a job soon.
Well, maybe I'll start a YouTube show.
That's what I'm thinking.
You can't fly around New York City on a magic carpet, but get your electric skateboard, some PVC pipe, a great outfit, give Jesse a call, and you can. What do you think?
This is gonna be so dope.
You don't need gear, you don't need trucks or a crane, you don't need some big expensive camera rig that never works. When you're a creator, you don't need someone in your ear telling you what you can and can't do.
I'm racing the subway!
What you can and can't say.
I accidentally did the shocker. Oh my God.
They call us gamers, influencers, internet famous.
What the fuck does that mean?
But we know something they don't. You can start a vlog or a makeup channel. Or travel around the world with a gigantic piano, playing it in beautiful places for interested people. When you're a creator, all you need is your phone, an internet connection, and a good idea. A story you want to share, something you need to say.
Confidence is within yourself.
And then the rest is history.
76, 77, 78, 79.
If you do it right, you get to quit the day job, make friends from places you've never been, meetups, collaborations.
It's just two boys and two video cameras.
A life moving so fast and so full, you won't even have time to process it. So to my fellow creators, I say, keep creating, keep doing the work.
Hey guys! Au galop sur la plage, moment désertique. Au galop sur la plage.
And never forget, you don't have to listen to anyone, because in this new world, no one knows anything.
Hi, haters.
The haters, the doubters are all drinking champagne in the top deck of the Titanic, and we are the fucking iceberg.
81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. 100, mon écueil, mon cercueil, vive les chevaux.
Do what you can't. Thanks, guys. And again, you know, watching that here with all of you, I made that movie just thinking of making videos and my fellow creators, but sitting here in this room with you really drove home just how true that narrative is. No matter what you're trying to do in life, you'll always be discouraged. Remember this, that people who have surrendered their passions, people who have given up on their dreams, they take it upon themselves to discourage others from pursuing their dreams. And that's something you will confront no matter what you do in life. You will always, always, always be confronting that. Because there's nothing worse than living knowing you let something go that was important to you and seeing a peer realize something that's important to them. So I wish you all the best of luck, and thank you so much for having me.
I don't think we could start the week any better than focusing on things that you can't. And I'm really, really excited that you're all here. And first of all, another huge round of applause for our Super Bowl YouTuber, Casey Neistat. We can't forget our Super Bowl champion, Denver Bronco, Ryan Harris, our amazing MC for the day. As you enter this week, just remember that all of you have a perspective. Whether you're just starting your career or whether you're the best CEO in the state, everyone has something to give. And I think to channel what Samir said, as we go through the week and figure out the things and challenge the I can'ts, think about the things that you can deeply follow your passion and follow your heart to leave this world with your hands open. You all have it in your ability to do that. This week could not be possible without our incredible sponsors. Our title sponsors include Aging 2.0, Chase for Business, Comcast, the Downtown Denver Partnership, and WeWork. Huge round of applause for everybody. We also have another amazing group of sponsors. One more round of applause for the tens of sponsors on our website. That you guys need to check them all out. And most importantly, Startup Week is about the humans. A huge round of applause and thank you to our committee, our over 300 volunteers, and everybody who's working to make this 100% free and awesome for you to explore your passion and dreams all week.
So, steps for success from here. Make sure that you've registered. Okay, obviously if you're here, you should have. Make sure you pick up your wristband. Check the schedule. There's a lot of great events that are going on out there. And then biggest thing, network and follow up on this. This is about community. This is about getting together. We do a thing at the end where we stand up and recognize everyone who's here, but I want to do it a little bit differently tonight based on what Casey was saying, or this morning what Casey was saying and the rest. How many people here either trying to start a company right now or want to start a company? Stand up. So here's what I want. For all those who are sitting down, I know every single one of you has a way to help. Stay up. I don't want you to sit down yet. Find these people after this. Go find, ask, how can I help? Because give first, that's what Denver Startup Week is about. That's how we make this a great place to be. So go find these people, help them start their companies from here.
Great.
So from there, hashtag Den Startup Week. Make sure that we go out there and we help to collaborate, communicate, and convene, and have a great Denver Startup Week.
So, One of the reasons we talked about earlier that we put out this platform is so we can tell the world about Denver Startup Week and the community that's happening here. And you've been doing it. This morning alone, we've had over 12 million social media impressions. That brings us close to 30 million, and we are trending globally. Denver's on the map. We also, while you've all been sitting here taking in the inspiration, we've had 500 more people register for Denver Startup Week. Why is it important? It's more people that will look at starting companies, growing companies, and helping others do the same. And, of course, it helps support our sponsors as well. So keep getting the word out. It absolutely matters. With that said, on behalf of Ben, Eric, and myself,
have
a great Startup Week. Now, no party begins without a big full crowd.